welcome back. It's Liz from Book Learning. We got back from Vegas and a road trip out west yesterday evening, and I came back to the surprisingly wonderful news that Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures tagged me in the I Dare You tag. So here we go. Take two, because I am too jet lagged to deal with editing. The first question is the book that's been on my shelf the longest, and I'm pretty sure that is this really beat up copy, of The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, or J.R. Tolkien collection of shorts, The Tolkien Reader, that my dad got me. I think I got both of those somewhere around middle school or early high school, so I just can't remember which. Question number 2. The current, last, and next reads. So, I finished The Glass Universe by Dava Sobel on the flight back from Vegas. I am currently reading Lincoln's Melancholy, Lucia Berlin's collection of short stories, A Manual for Cleaning Women, and Neil Gaiman's American Gods. And once I get through those, I think like 90% sure I'm going to start with, sorry for the late, Jose Saramago's The Gospel According to Jesus Christ, because it's the first chapter that really stuck with me the most. Let's see. The third question. A book everyone liked, but you didn't. I think this will have to be Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance. It just didn't impress me as a memoir. I think the title really overreached. Is that how you conjugate that verb? Too tired. It was decent, but it wasn't as impressive as a book I read earlier this year about a woman who grew up in a polygamist camp in Mexico. I will look that title up and link it down below. Let's see. Number 4, a book you keep telling yourself you'll read, but you haven't gotten around to it. That's easy for me. It is Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco. I really want to read this because my friend Ward enjoyed it, but I just never seem to be able to get into the heavy philosophy of it. It's very intimidating to me. I want to read it, but I know it's just one of those books that has to sit on the shelf until I get that one right moment to start it. A book, number 5, a book that you're saving for retirement. That is Michael Ende's Momo in German, and because it's in German is the reason I have to wait until retirement. Try as I might to learn another language by myself, German and Dutch both really escape me because of the grammar structure, and I don't have the time or money enough to take a course, and I really do need somebody to teach me and people to practice with mostly, which is extra sad for me because it came from my friend Ward for my 23rd birthday, and he wrote in it lovingly. So, but I'll not get rid of it. Let's see. Question number 6. Do you read the last page first or wait? I wait. I forced myself. I literally had to hold my hand down from turning the pages when I was reading The Martian because it was so good and I just wanted to know the end. But but I held myself responsible and I did not read the end. Let's see. Question number 7. Acknowledgements, are they a waste or an interesting aside? I find them interesting, unless the author is just trying to thank every single person he or she has ever known. But I find them really charming and a nice insight into the effort and the process of writing. Question number 8. What is a book character you would want to switch lives with? That is Odette from The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat by Edward Kelsey Moore. I love this book so much. I learned about it from Dee Dee at Brown Girl Reading, and I got this for free from the library as a prize for participating in a summer reading program. And I think this, I only read it about a year ago, and I'm pretty sure I'll reread it, and I just don't reread much, if anything. And that's how much I loved this book. Odette is a very strong character. She knows herself, and she just doesn't make any bones about it. And she's just wonderful. If you haven't read this book, please do. It's a great read. It's a lighter read, but it's just powerful. Let's see. Number 9, a book that reminds you of something specific in your life. And I tried to find this book, and enlisted my husband to try to find this book. I don't know why we don't have it anymore, but it would be Adrian Effenegger's The Time Traveler's Wife. On our first trip together, in celebration of the end of my master's degree coursework, he took me to Asheville, North Carolina, and read that book aloud to me. And that's a very charming, charming memory for me. Let's see. A book acquired in an interesting way. Paul Guest's memoir, One More Theory About Happiness, which he signed for me. I worked briefly with his significant other. They might have gotten married at this point, but I'm not sure. And they took me out to dinner just to hang out as friends, and he gave me a copy of the book, and that was really cool. I was not expecting it. Have I ever given away a book for a special reason to a special person? Yes, always. In particular, I'm thinking of this anthropology book called The Gift. I believe it's by Marcel Mauss. I don't have it, obviously, because I gave it away. It was a book that I read during one of the courses of my master's degree, and if ever there was a book to give away, it has to be The Gift. It's the subject of the book itself, and I gave it to a very nice man who lives in my parents' neighborhood. He taught at my high school, although I never took a class with him, and he's such a nice guy, and it was right up his alley. So he really enjoyed getting that as a surprise gift. We're not even really that close, so it fit. Number 12, the book that has been with you to the most places. I don't really, up until recently, I haven't really allowed myself to buy a lot of books because I've had to move all those books and I didn't want to deal with that. So I think it would be Silencing the Past by Michelle Rolfe-Trouillot. It's a book that I had to read for a course in Halifax when I was studying abroad. Yes, I studied abroad in Canada. Ha ha ha. And I read it on the train from Halifax to Montreal, the same train where I met my friend Ward, who I talked about earlier. And I loved this book, and it has been with me in parts of Canada, in several places in Virginia, and I'm getting an itch to reread it again, oddly enough. Let's see. Question 13 is required reading in high school that you hated but liked now. I don't really reread, so I don't have a good answer for this. 14, the strangest item found in a book. I haven't found any very interesting things that I can remember in books. It's usually just bookmarks or those old library checkout cards, you know what I mean, where there was a little folder in the back, a little folder in the back, and they would stamp the date on it and keep the card so they knew who had it, and then they would cross it out. You know what I'm talking about? There was one in Cannibals and Missionaries still, which I borrowed from the library, but they didn't stamp the date on it because it's all digital now. Let's see. 15, used or brand new. I don't care. I'd prefer to buy used because I'm not made of money, but I like books in general. So 16, have I ever read a Dan Brown book? I don't remember. For a history major, this might sound weird, but I don't remember names and dates very well. So if Dan Brown is the person who wrote the Da Vinci Code, then yes, I have. 17, a movie you liked better than the book. I liked the movie Chocolat better than I liked the book Chocolat, but I liked both of them. That's the one that comes to mind, but it's also the most recent for me. So, let's see. Question 18, a book that should never have been published. That's harsh. I can't think of a book that should never have existed. I liked Mel's answer, but my question to her is, which Mein Kampf? Hitler's or the more recent one? Which one of those should never have been published? 19, has a book ever made you hungry that's not a cookbook? Yes. Culinary mysteries in general seem too close to cookbooks for me to say one of those, but I read, I think it's Elizabeth Alexander's memoir. I want to say it's called The Light of the World. I will look it up and link it below. And it's not, her husband ran a restaurant, so that's where a lot of the food comes in. But it's a fantastic memoir, even if you don't like memoirs. It's more of a musing on love and loss and what it means to keep someone with you once they're gone. And number 20, is there a person whose book advice you always take? No. My friend Rachel, though, has a really interesting theory about, it's like the Venn diagram theory. So there's always some point in common that you can have with somebody's reading tastes, and then there are things that you both don't like, both disagree on. So for example, Rachel reads more science fiction and fantasy than I do, and I read more nonfiction than her. But we have this like common intersect. Trying to think of a book recently. Oh man, I lent it to my friend Kyle, but it's the first, I think it's called Empire in Black and Gold. I'll look it up and link it below. And then finally, Under the Gun, tagging people. I've never done that before. I would like to hear answers to these questions from Bald Book Geek, All D Books, Michael Reads, and Bree at Moriarty and Her Books. Yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll be back later with a vacation book haul.